Within the Caribbean waters, there lies a tropical island filled with music, culture, and beauty that stretches from the people to nature. Although it may be a dream destination for many, it is a frustrating homeland for native Boricuas. Hello, my name is Ferdy, and today we will be talking about Puerto Rico, the neglected nation. Over the span of this episode, we will dive into the subjects like their energy crisis, the neglect from local government, as well as U.S. government, and who's to blame for the struggles natives face daily. For years, Puerto Rico has faced constant power outages, which many say is due to the fact they experience extreme weather conditions, such as hurricanes. While this was the initial issue, if you peel back deeper, we come to understand that the way in which they approached this issue made things exponentially worse. How did the government approach this issue? By allowing for privatization of electrical grid to a company named Luma Energy, which led to power outages doubling and many communities being disproportionately harmed. Natives explained what was happening in the Democracy Now! Article named Hurricane Luma. Quote, "We're experiencing twice the number of frequency of outages than we did, say, for example, last year, when we had the earthquakes and two of the big plants were out." See, native Puerto Ricans are noticing the drastic difference in Lumina's presence on the island. They go on to compare it to the severe earthquakes they've experienced, saying that Lumina's effect has been worse. Moreover, you're probably wondering, what is the government doing about all this? Surely the local government or U.S. owner should be fighting for the natives. Unfortunately, because of policy failure, they have done little to nothing about this issue. You think after some years of living with a company like Luma, government policy would catch up to improve quality of life for the natives. Well, it didn't. In 2017, according to the article from Wired, after Hurricane Marina hit, the island is led to, quote, "the second largest blackout in the history of power on Earth." Now, although the hurricane was a large factor, it actually wasn't the root cause. Many natives claimed within the article that, quote, "this disaster wasn't a surprise. It wasn't even wholly natural. It was a disaster of policy." Noting that due to the government's neglect of proper policies, one of the largest blackouts in history was allowed to occur. More recently, this issue of government neglect stays relevant and power outages continue to be an issue. An artist who has spoken on this issue many times but has recently brought it to a national viewing during his Super Bowl halftime performance is Bad Bunny. A native Puerto Rican turned superstar has done his best to show love to his nationality, but also bring awareness to the issues Puerto Ricans face due to poor government policy. In his song, El Apagón,
Maldita sea, otro apagón, vamos pa' los bleachers a prender un blon. Antes que a Pipo le dé un bofetón. Puerto Rico está en cabrón, ey, está en cabrón. Puerto Rico está en cabrón, ey.
the translation of this song, which I have made a little more PG for the purposes of this video, is, "Damn it, another blackout. Let's go to the bleachers to light a blunt before I slap people. Puerto Rico is freaking tough. It's freaking tough. Puerto Rico is freaking tough." Bad Bunny, throughout this song, uses a tone of sarcasm, first stating his frustration for another blackout, which shows how common they are. Second, he references smoking to calm his nerves before he expresses his frustration by hurting people, which is a derogatory nickname for Pedro Pierluisi, the former governor of Puerto Rico. This points the blame on the government's neglect of the island and unfit leaders. The rest explains that Puerto Rico is tough, being able to endure blackouts, gentrification, and political inaction. Finally, this shows the love for his country and how Puerto Ricans actually desire change. Overall, who can we blame for Puerto Ricans' struggling conditions? Well, all fingers point to the government, and more specifically, the local island and U.S. government. See, the U.S. push for private energy companies damaged the natives' lives exponentially, and the neglect of correct policy from local Puerto Rican government disables them from enacting change to better their homeland. So although it's their fault, we can't shame them, but instead make known that change must occur and continue to push forward to better the lives of Puerto Ricans in this neglected nation. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something today. Take care.